Let's go to Eliot Shorr-Parks down at the NFL owners meetings where the league has tabled the vote for the Tush Push. Eliot, how we doing?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Hey, I can tell right now, Eliot, you have a pep in your step. As far as my vote is concerned, which I don't have one, you're the early leader in the clubhouse for Insider of the Year for 2026? 2025?
That would be 2026, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're the early leader in the clubhouse. You are down there putting reporters to shame, asking the hard questions. Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Look, it's all about doing it again, right? Last year was last year. It's a new season, so just trying to be the best.
That's
again.
what I'm talking about, Eliot. Lead into it. Lead into it. Did you wear your chain down there, man? Did you wear the chain?
No, Joe. I'm debuting the chain at pull to Hugh there. I'm debuting the chain at the draft party.
I'm proud
so anyone
of
that wants to come to the draft party,
you gonna debut the chain? That's what I'm talking about.
I got you.
That's my Insider of the Year, back to back, working on that back to back.
It's going to be a big night when the chain is debuted. All right, Eliot, what's your take on what happened today? So we were waiting to vote, and then they said nope, no vote. According to a couple of reporters, and one from the Washington Post I saw, it sounded like about 16-16 would have been the vote today, which would have meant the Tush Push would have stayed, right? They needed 24 votes to get it out, but they tabled this thing until a later date, maybe May. What's your take on where we're at right now with this Tush Push debate within the NFL?
Yeah, so I think the Tush Push is likely not back next year, or at least not the same version of it. I just left the competition committee press conference, and Rich McKay, who's co-chair of the committee, talked about the concerns with the play, and he said there were essentially, I would say, two main concerns. One, obviously safety. And then two, he mentioned just frankly how it looks. The pooling, is it football? The pushing, is it a rugby play? So he said those were really the two concerns. And, I asked him afterwards, why is there a concern with safety if the play's been run for 3 years and there's been essentially no injuries? And, what he said was that while safety is part of it, that, a lot of the anti-Tush Push people, I guess I'll call them, had a concern with just how the play looks, like the term rugby play was used. So my main takeaway from leaving that press conference is obviously the safety has been a big talking point over the past few days, but I think if this goes, it will be just as much because of the way it looks as opposed to the safety concern.
So here's my issue with and it's all, and I think you posted something earlier this morning with LaFleur talking. None of this seems consistent, and I feel like they're opening a can of worms here, Eliot. Like, if you tell me they're going to take a play away from the NFL because of how it looks, I can respond and say, well, why do we allow quarterback kneels at the end of a game? It's stupid. I mean, like, who wants to watch a quarterback just put a knee down and the clock run out? Like, I don't understand why they're choosing this play to kind of take a hardline stance on how it looks. It's bizarre to me, especially with how infrequently it's run across the NFL.
Well, and especially, let's be honest, it looks a lot like a quarterback sneak.
Yes.
Right? Like if you put 100 of them on tape and showed somebody who had never watched football before to differentiate between 50 tush pushes and 50 quarterback sneaks, I don't think they would say there is a main difference. So if you want to say just like a scrum aspect of it is not appealing or a football play, then ban quarterback sneaks as well. Like, I mean, the pushing is part of it, but if we're going to remove the safety aspect and just focus on the visual of how it looks, it's not much different than that. And here's just the frustrating truth that the Eagles and like their fans are going to have to accept, that there is really no rhyme or reason to this, right? Like it could just be enough teams don't like it simply because they don't like it, and that's that. And let's be honest here. If we want to say from a competitive standpoint, if I'm Washington or if I'm Detroit or if I'm Kansas City, why wouldn't I ban this play? Like, I don't run it. The Eagles run it, and it helps the Eagles because they're so good at short yardage. Now, I think the Eagles will still convert at a high rate, but if they're going to say in this competition committee thing that safety is not like the driving force, then let's just say what it is. It is a preference thing, and I think the rest of the league prefers the Eagles couldn't run this play.
Eliot, who stood out to you in terms of their voice and how strong they are? I mean, I know LaFleur's been on this. You were at the press conference yesterday with McDermott at the AFC Coaches Breakfast. McVay seems to be on that side of it. McVay's pretty long tenured, and so is McDermott. I mean, I imagine their voice carries some weight here.
Yeah, and McVay is one we should probably focus on a little bit more than we have. Obviously, McDermott yesterday, that was a big talking point with the safety thing. But McVay has been quoted as saying it's not a football play. He doesn't think it looks like a football play. And if, McVay has won a Super Bowl, he's a powerful coach around the league, if he is going to say to people, this doesn't look like football, that is a powerful voice to have to combat. So you mentioned it's 16-16 is the report. I think everyone needs to look at it as if the NFL wanted the tush push to stay, they would have just had the vote today. But
Right.
because that they are tabling this and they're moving it to the future, that is a strong indication of what they want to have happen. They want this play to be banned. Otherwise, it would just be voted today. So maybe next year there will be some variation where, there will still be quarterback sneaks. But I think that when this is voted on again in May, that you will likely see the play altered in some way.
Eliot, one proposal was passed today that this was the Eagles' proposal, which is overtime. It's going to be now the same as the postseason and the regular season. So both teams will get possession of the ball in OT no matter if the team that gets the ball first scores a touchdown. So that was the Eagles' proposal. You like that one?
Yeah, to be honest, I felt a little bit like McNabb listening to that because I've been so focused on the tush push. I'm not sure I really understand what the new overtime rule is yet. But, yeah, I mean, if both teams are going to get the ball, I think that's a positive. So the Eagles can chalk up one win for today, at least.
Well, we'll take that. Eliot, your takeaways from the other part of this, which is for the first time since, I guess, the Combine, we get to hear from Howie and Nick Sirianni. Or you did with Howie yesterday. We all heard Sirianni this morning at the breakfast you were at. What stood out the most? Let's start with Howie because that was not something that was broadcast. We just saw some of the quotes. You were there. What stood out to you from Howie speaking yesterday?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say this is everything he said, but just my sense of being there for Howie and being here the past 2 days is that, patience is probably a word the Eagles want fans to have right now, and this is what he said at the Combine. So I think if you look at the Eagles roster, we can all agree as currently constructed, they have, if not the best roster in the NFL, they're certainly top 5, wherever you want to put it. But we can also all agree they have some holes. There's the hole at safety, the cornerback number 2 spot, the right guard. Like there are some obvious spots where you could go, there's a question mark there. I think the Eagles are attacking the rest of this offseason before week 1 with a mindset of let's see how the young guys do. Let's see how Sidney Brown does. Let's see how Keely Ringo does. Let's see how Tyler Steen and Kenyon Green look. And we'll give them a chance. But if, entering week 1 or the third week of training camp, it's obvious that maybe one of them is not playing to where they need to be, I think the Eagles believe they have enough assets piled up. I think it's something like 20 draft picks over the next few years where they'll just go out and trade for somebody. So, I love talking about the Eagles more than anybody. I love the roller coaster of concern. But I think it's very obvious that if you're someone who's concerned about the safety spot, if the safety's not playing well, they'll just make a trade. But I don't think they're going to make a big-time move between now and when they hit the field for practice because I think they genuinely want to give these guys a shot.
Eliot, Sirianni spoke this morning. I heard you ask him. I think it was you asking the question, but you put up the video about his contract situation, which,
yes,
it was you. Yeah, okay. So his contract is up after this coming season. I would be shocked if he goes into the year as a lame duck, but nothing's done yet. What did you take away from his answer? And then when do you think something would happen here? And why do you think it hasn't happened yet?
Well, so I was in the same camp, it sounds like you were, where when I was in the locker room when they were celebrating the Super Bowl, I thought it would maybe be like 3 days before that contract's announced. It seems like a pretty straightforward negotiation. But if you look back in 2017 when they won that Super Bowl, Doug's extension was not announced until August that following season, essentially, like in training camp. So there is a bit of a precedent of them not doing it right away. Being next to Nick today when I asked him, the sense I get is it's not something they're concerned about, but also probably not something they want to talk about right now, right? Because, they're focusing on other things. So I agree with you. I would be stunned if Nick enters next season on what's essentially a 1-year deal. Jeffrey Lurie is going to talk in a few hours here, and when he does, I'm sure he'll be asked about it, and he'll probably say something similar, which is, Nick's going to be here a long time. I'm not going to talk about contracts, but he'll get one. I'm
curious, Eliot, because you've been down there, and I'm pretty sure you've been moving and shaking and moving around buildings. Outside of the heated conversation that Howie had with Coach McVay, have you witnessed any more lobbying down there in Florida? Have you seen any more, like, maybe heated conversations or some controversial conversations?
Well, so I will say it's definitely the topic of conversation. It feels like no matter where I'm at, last night they had a big party for everybody here, owners, head coaches, Serena Williams, Guy Fieri was there. So it was a star-studded event, to say the least.
There?
But
why is Guy Fieri there?
Well,
maybe
that's the dude with the hair, right?
One's not. Yeah, that's the cooking guy. Yeah.
She married, though, right?
She can still
So
go
they
to a
weren't there
party.
together.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I mean, why you? I mean, I'm no, because I'm like. I mean, never mind. I'm getting in trouble. Okay, just go ahead and
She's a
finish.
famous
What are you
athlete.
talking about?
He's just a chef with a TV show.
No, but I'm saying, why is she at the NFL
I think Guy
owners meeting?
Fieri's pretty popular.
Yeah.
I would say he's pretty well known.
Yeah, I think
But,
his best
Diners,
days
drive-ins,
are
and
over.
dives, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's over now.
That's
Yeah,
the
but-
spiky hair dude,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ed. We're sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
if
sorry.
if I see her later, I'll tell her to follow you on
No,
Instagram,
don't do that. Don't. I'm just
Please do that.
kind of curious. Why, like at the owners meeting, why is she there? Like she trying to own the team?
Well,
Maybe.
I think part of it is we're just at a really nice hotel in a warm weather place.
So she just happened to be at the same hotel.
No, I don't know that, but she's just a nice place to hang out.
I got
right?
it. I got
I think
hung
you're
up.
prying
I got-
a little too much.
Well, yeah, I got hung up on
Yeah.
the wrong thing, dog.
Obviously,
I'm
I
hung up
should
on
have
Guy
asked-
Fieri, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Although I will say when I said that Serena and Guy Fieri was there, I thought I would get Hugh's attention. So maybe that one was.
I remember
It
meeting
worked.
at the Super Bowl, at the Pro Bowl. Big.
But no, I mean, just everywhere you go here, the tush push is the main topic of conversation, and
saying.
everybody has an opinion on it. So I haven't seen any heated debates. I think the idea it was heated is probably overblown a little bit, to be honest, just from what I've heard. But I everybody here, the tush push is it's a perfect conversation point. It's simple. It's like that is the main topic here. So everyone has an opinion on it for sure.
Well, Elliot, we appreciate hopping on and great work this week. And because of your work, we've been putting together a list here of true football guys and non-football guys. And unfortunately,
it.
Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur, they're out. They're not football guys anymore. So the list.
Well, I got something for you there too.
Oh, what is it?
If you watch the way Nick Sirianni carries himself here, like football guy clothes, right? Like an Eagles shirt, shorts, a hat. You look at McVay and LaFleur, they got on well-tailored jackets, tight pants like I do, like,
He
not
said
really
tight pants
football
like
guy,
I do.
not really
That'd be funny.
football guy attire, I would say.
Yeah, Nick's moving up the ranks of football guys. He's proven himself there
Yeah.
to be one. All right, Elliot, we appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your time there, and we'll talk soon.
Have a good one, man.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys.
All right, there he goes. Eliot Shorr-Parks with us from West Palm Beach, the site of the owners meeting.